Hi there everyone, it's Tim Topham here. Do you use Facebook to market your piano studio and try and get your page and your services in front of parents around your local area? If so, then this video is for you because it's all about some of the recent changes that Facebook's made to its systems and how that might affect you and the marketing that you're doing. So everyone, I'm going to try and do this live video with my kitten right behind me. I'm in my main living area here, and so I do apologise if he makes any noise. So look, the recent changes to Facebook have been made and announced by Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook, in a post that he wrote, and I've got it just here. I'll read just a tiny little bit of it. It's basically talking about how they've received feedback from the community that public content, so posts from businesses, brands and media, that's us, when we're marketing to our parents, is crowding out the personal moments that lead us to connect more with each other. And they're very conscious of the fact that they want people to stay on Facebook and not be bombarded with too much business information. And they're saying that it's actually a social, psychological thing. They want people to connect with each other because that was the primary purpose of Facebook itself. And so they want to try and get back to those roots. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, remember that there's two types of content that we can produce or marketing that we can do around the internet, and one is paid traffic. So that's when we pay to get our message in front of someone. So when you pay to have a Facebook ad for your studio, that's called paid traffic or paid reach. And the other alternative is when you just post and people find it organically, and that's called organic reach. And so what they've been saying is really that the organic reach that we'll get as businesses with our pages is going to go down even further. Of course, it's already been going down for a very long time. As many of you will know, if you check your insights, and I do recommend you do this fairly regularly, try and do it each week, each couple of weeks if you can. When you are in your Facebook page, go up to insights. It's the reports basically for how much reach and eyeballs are getting on your stuff. Do check it out and see what they are saying. You might be finding that a post that you've spent hours putting together, which looks great, and you've got an image, maybe you've even paid a designer to create a great image for you, just hasn't been seen, or maybe has 1 click or 2 clicks or no shares, things like that. So you've got to really weigh up now the opportunity costs and benefits of how much time you're spending with your posting. I think we've got to remember too that Facebook is a business. It's an absolutely massive billion-dollar, multi-hundreds of $1 billion of business, and it's only reasonable that they charge us to use their platform, which they've built and spent lots of money on, to connect with people that are interested in our services. So I kind of get it, and so I have to say that given that this change has been coming for some time and it's been going on for a little while, I'm not too worried about this, in all honesty, because the best way to get in front of people on Facebook that you really want to attract is through advertising. And it's just a fact of life. That's how they're making their money. That's what they're creating with their services. So you, my little kitten is down here. I don't know if you can see him. You see him there? Yeah, he's basically trying to bite everything nearby, including my leg. Okay, so really, with regard to posting, if you're not paying for it, the only way it'll get in front of a whole lot of people is if it goes viral. Now, going viral in the piano teaching space is pretty unlikely. I've had a mildly viral post once. That was me at the whiteboard talking about how I teach music reading, and that got a pretty big audience, I have to say. But again, it's incredibly unlikely, and that's only happened to me once in however many years I've been doing this. So that's really the only way you'll get a big reach organically without paying for things at the moment. People ask me about likes. You know, is it good to pay for likes or get people to like your page? And the answer to that is the only value of a like is that if you do pay for advertising, you can target people who have liked your page. And so I do encourage people to like my page, because that means that I can then send them an ad. I'll have to pay for that, but I have an audience that I can send an ad to. So that can be valuable, but don't think that by someone liking your page, it's suddenly going to show up in their newsfeed while they're scrolling, because it won't, and it won't even less now that these changes have happened and been announced by Facebook. Sorry, I just saw a question there, I think. Hi from Linda. Again, nice to see you, Linda. Okay, now what about pictures of kids and having a place for your studio on Facebook? Is that still valuable? Well, I think yes, it is. I think a website is still more valuable, and I've always been a proponent of the idea that it's best to have your own space online and not to just build on top of someone else's platform, because we don't know when they're going to make changes like this. They might just decide that no piano teachers can have a Facebook page anymore. And if you've built your whole business on that, then that's not going to be a very good position for you. So I would always recommend having a website, and I've got lots of resources to help you build a WordPress-based website, which is completely adaptable, updatable, customizable, and really ranks well in Google searches. So you can just search for Online Launchpad on my site if that's of interest. We've got step-by-step plans for that. So having a website's important. And then for your Facebook page, I think yes, it is important having a Facebook page for your piano studio. I think there's lots of merit in having those pictures of smiling kids that we've talked about, holding up certificates and awards and books and photos of your recitals, maybe videos of your recitals, of course with permission. I think these things are great, and they can form a base for parents to go to for information, and that's totally fine. All I'll be saying is that don't expect new people to find you that way. It can be great for your current audience. Your current parents, you may be able to tell them, look, hey, I've got a Facebook page and that's where I keep things updated, and that's great, and they'll know where to go. But I would be saying don't expect suddenly a whole lot of new people to come through just because you've got a Facebook page. Nice to see Michael as well. And Margaret too. Thanks for saying hi, guys. All right, so I think when it comes back to the basics, how you actually spend your time when it comes to Facebook, you've got to work out the cost versus the benefit. So if you are spending hours and hours putting up posts that aren't getting a whole lot of traction, then I would be questioning whether that's a good way to spend your time, or whether there could be other ways you could spend it that would have more a bigger output and bigger results for you. So check on that, okay? If you are able to put out little posts on Facebook with nice graphics because you've got a bit of a template and they're getting a few clicks or even some shares, then great, keep doing that. There's no reason to suddenly drop the ball and stop this altogether. I think there is value in continuing to have new things on your page, even if it is only for your families that are already students. So, what's the solution? If you want to use Facebook as a marketing platform, then you've got to think a little bit differently, and you've got to invest in advertising on their platform. And so these changes that they announced in the last 2 weeks, and they just announced another one yesterday actually, what they mean is you're really going to have to pay if you want to use Facebook as a marketing channel. And that's kind of life, really. They've built this amazing resource for us where we can direct our ads to the exact age and gender and location and job occupations of people in our area. Like, it is phenomenally clever, their advertising system. It's also phenomenally hard to get your head around. I'm going to talk about a solution to that in a moment. But the way that you can target people is unlike anything that's ever happened in the world ever before. This is why Facebook is making so much money, because suddenly you can target people incredibly effectively in your local area too. So the money that you spend, if you do it right, can be really have a really great return on investment for you. Okay. So the challenge, I guess, then is, if you haven't actually run a Facebook ad before, is how you do it, and how you do it without wasting a whole heap of money. And many people have done that. I hear many stories of people saying, oh, Facebook ads doesn't work, or they don't work. And my thinking on that is just that they haven't explored it enough, they haven't researched enough, they haven't learnt enough about how to use it properly to get the most out of it. I've certainly had hits and misses. I advertise on Facebook a lot when I've got webinars coming up, as you might have seen in the past. And sometimes they work really well, sometimes they don't work so well, and sometimes it's hard to know why that's the case. Because again, a lot of how Facebook works is algorithmic. It's written in computer code, mathematical code, that people have designed to do various things, and it's all kind of wishy-washy and a bit grey, and we don't know exactly how it works. So there's a lot to learn, and doing it yourself can be really tricky. Things like pressing that boost post button. If you've got a page, you'll see every couple of days Facebook saying, hey, boost this post, you'll get great reach from it, or you'll reach 500 people, or whatever it is. Is that a good way to go about things? Well, I'm not the biggest expert in Facebook ads. I've been doing it for a number of years, but I've actually recently hired a Facebook ads manager for my business. So to help me get in front of as many people as I can and to take off the pressure of actually keeping current with the whole system. So she started working with me as a contractor in, I think it was August or thereabouts last year. And what I've actually asked her to do is see if she could create a mini training for us as piano teachers about how to do Facebook ads. Now, my Facebook ads manager, the person I've asked to do this, is a speaker at Social Media Marketing World. She's a phenomenally talented and experienced Facebook's ads manager. And so I'm very, very pleased that she's even offered to do this. And we'll actually have a webinar coming up. It'll be in a few months. It's not going to be just now, because we've got some work to do on it. We'll have a webinar and we'll have some training, video training, specifically for piano teachers about how you can use Facebook ads and how to do it, what not to do, how to not waste too much money, and how to get the best benefits. So we'll talk about things like tracking with the Facebook Pixel, the different types of ads you can use, and really importantly, keeping an eye on what's actually going on in your Facebook ads campaigns, so that you can keep refining things as you go. Because it's not like putting up a billboard or putting up a flyer and you put it there and you leave it, and so people see it or they don't, and then it falls off. Online advertising is very much about tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and changing things as they go along. So it does take a little bit of work, but it is 100% doable, and you can learn how to do it. I think it's also important that if you're going to hire someone to do your Facebook advertising for you, and I think that's a great way to go if you're serious about using this platform for marketing your studio. I think hiring someone is great, because this is not our area of expertise, as everyone we probably know. It's certainly not my area of expertise. We should be spending the time in our studios doing the things that is going to bring most benefit to our students and our business. So, spending hours and hours and hours doing Facebook advertising might not be the best way to go for you. So I do encourage people to consider hiring people to take on this role. However, I also encourage you to not hire someone unless you know something about how the system works. So, if you were going to hire a piano teacher for your studio, you would want to know that they can teach piano. And the only way to really do that is to know a bit about piano teaching yourself. You know what to look for, what the right outcome is, and those sorts of things. I think it's the same when you hire almost anyone in your business. Even if you're hiring an administrator of some sort, you need to make sure that they know what they're doing. And the best way to do that is for you to know how to do it yourself, or at least have the basics. I think about this when I hire developers, people to help develop my websites. I always test them on some activities that I know have a very distinct start and end. I know the approximate process that needs to go on, so I can assess how good they are at doing that. For hiring someone to do your marketing for you, your Facebook advertising in particular, which is what we're talking about today, I would highly recommend that you learn a bit about Facebook advertising before you hand it over. Unfortunately, there are no doubt unscrupulous advertising managers out there who are not very effective but claim that they are. So taking word of mouth from a reputable person would be a great start. But then being able to check in and talk to them about things like relevancy scores and pixels and cost per leads and number of impressions and campaigns versus ad sets and all this kind of stuff. If you can talk that language at least a little bit, you're going to be way ahead when it comes to outsourcing this task in your studio. And I can tell you, one of the greatest things about Facebook advertising is that it's all 100% measurable. If I put an ad up for a webinar, and in fact I'll be starting those for next Monday's webinar really soon, I can track how many people have seen it, how many people have clicked on it, how many people have gone and registered for the webinar. And all of that is tracked through these things called pixels. And once they're set up right, you've got a really clear idea of how much money you're spending, and then how many, let's say, new students are coming into your studio. So if you know that a new student is worth X dollars for you over their lifetime, we call it lifetime value. I'm not going to go into too many details. Let's say a student is worth $1,000 to you in 1 year, right? And the ad campaign costs you, I don't know, $500, and you only reach one student. Then you've spent $500, you've gained $1,000, so you're $500 up in the ends of things, right? Now, if you were to spend $500 and only get one new person, then I would be a little bit worried about that spend. I think you could probably do much better, but you get the idea. There is ways of tracking everything that goes on when you use a system like Facebook. So I encourage you to keep an open mind about it. If you've tried it before and haven't had too much success, this is with advertising on Facebook, then don't rule it out, because it is possible to do well. And while I don't advertise for my piano students on Facebook, and I don't do that just because I'm not rapidly building my studio at the moment, I certainly use it for my business side, and I know of many people who use it to look for and build their piano teaching studios. And I just saw Danny Thompson was on, and this is an area of expertise for him, and we'll be talking specifically about this next season. So season 2 of the podcast, which will be coming out just before the middle of the year, which is approximately the time that we'll also be releasing some training for piano teachers on Facebook ads, including the webinar that's coming out. So if you've got any questions, by the way, I'm going to start wrapping up really soon. If you've got any questions that I could perhaps quickly answer about Facebook advertising, I'll do my best. Pop them in the comments right now. If you think this is a cool idea or useful, or maybe you don't like what I'm saying, then let me know that too. If you do like it, I'm always happy to see a thumb up coming across the screen, of course. And I think as a sort of takeaway, what I would suggest you do is, if you haven't already, definitely go onto your page and go to Insights and have a look at the reports for your last few weeks or months, and just see how many people are clicking on things that you put out there. You only need to worry about this if you're trying to market yourself with your page. If your page is purely for your students and your parents to use as a base online, then the insights aren't going to probably matter so much, because you're not worrying about this as a marketing idea. But if you are planning to use Facebook for marketing, then check those insights. Have a look. See how many clicks and likes and shares that you get. Engagement. Shares are often really, really good. So do check out those and have a think about how this might be valuable to you down the track as well. Margaret asked, do you have a past podcast on how to set up a hidden Facebook for students only? No, I don't, Margaret. One thing you can do, and one way that you can potentially continue to get some reach without paying for it, is through operating a group. Now, I don't have experience in this as a piano teacher and for my piano studio. I'd be interested in anyone watching this, if they've tried doing this, starting up a group where their parents and perhaps students can be in a Facebook group. I don't know. I think, again, it could be a useful discussion place, but then I think, it just becomes another thing that you've got to check and interact with. So it could be quite difficult. So yeah, I'm not sure that that's as valuable. I think groups are great for businesses potentially, but maybe less so for trying to get piano students in, because if you're trying to use that for marketing, then you've got to get potential parents to join a group. Not sure that that's too likely to happen. So Margaret, short answer, no, I do not have a podcast on that. I haven't talked a huge amount about Facebook advertising on podcasts yet. So stay tuned this year, because that is a focus of a number of our podcasts coming up. Now Linda's saying, talking about starting her own campaign and trying it out. So I forget. Yeah, good. Okay, so Linda's confirmed she has a group for students and parents, but they don't use it a lot. There's so much going on in everybody's lives, and we all know, because many of you, as I am, a member of multiple piano teaching groups online. It's incredibly hard to keep up with them all, and as things, again, change with the Facebook algorithm, who knows how many posts we actually see from any of these groups unless we actually go into the group and scroll through. So that's good to know. Thanks for the feedback, Linda, and good on you for trying out your own campaign and just seeing how it works. I should mention there's a fantastic podcast called The Art of Paid Traffic. It's by a guy called Rick Mulready from the United States. He is basically one of the world's go-to Facebook ads guys. He has great downloads on his website. So if you're interested in taking a stab at this yourself, rather than just start spending money, go and do some research. Listen to some podcasts, and his podcasts are great. The Art of Paid Traffic. I really highly recommend that. And there's also another one by a digital marketer called Perpetual Traffic. Again, you could spend hours and hours doing this, but if you can find just a few key ideas that you can then test out, it'll be really interesting to see how you go. But as I say, we will have some training on this around the middle of the year, and so I'd love to share it with you then, and we'll have a lot more hands-on, sort of step-by-step, this is what to do, this is what not to do. Okay, so look, I hope that has been somewhat helpful. Hopefully it hasn't depressed you more than you already were about Facebook and things like that. It's an interesting change. Mark Zuckerberg himself has said, look, they actually expect engagement to go down on Facebook, which would be one of their key metrics, of course, while these changes take place. But he hopes that by connecting people and showing people more of their friends' stuff in the feed, that they're actually going to get more benefit and enjoy their time on Facebook more, rather than just looking at all this stuff from businesses like us with our piano studios. Those names again, Linda, yes, so it was The Art of Paid Traffic podcast and also Perpetual Traffic podcast. So two of my sort of go-tos about Facebook advertising. And look, there is heaps of stuff online about it too, from notable people. Just find people who speak at the big conferences about it, and chances are they know what they're talking about. So if you can find a blog post about it or a download ebook about how to set up your Facebook pixel, I think they're good places to go to. And in fact, The Art of Paid Traffic, Rick Mulready has a great free download on Facebook Pixels. So one thing I would just say, if you are going to set up any kind of campaign on Facebook, please use the Facebook Pixel so that you can track the results of your campaign. If you haven't got that, then you'll be spending money and have absolutely no idea whether it's working or not. Okay, so if the words Facebook Pixel is like I'm speaking another language, then that's fine. Do some research if you are looking at setting up some campaigns. Again, we'll be talking about it later this year. So I really look forward to sharing those ideas with you. And thank you very much for listening today. I will look forward to seeing a number of you who I know have signed up for the webinar on Monday. So Sunday night, Europe and America time. Monday morning here in Australia at 8 a.m. we're doing our successful studio strategies to start the year. It's great for beginner teachers. It's great for experienced teachers. Just going to just go back to some of those basics and make sure everything's in place for a really productive 2018. So if you're interested in that, head to timtopham.com/webinar. I really look forward to hanging out with all of you then. And thanks again for joining me today. I hope it's been helpful. And please, if you know of any other piano teachers who might enjoy this, please share it with them. It'd be great to spread the word. All the best, guys. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you really soon. Bye-bye.